Hello, folks. Today we are going to discuss William Shakespeare from a UGC exam point of view. We are going to deliberate upon what to read, how to read, where to find the information, who are the main critics of Shakespeare, and most importantly, how to use that information to answer the questions asked in the UGC exam. As we all know, Shakespeare was one of the greatest playwrights of the world. Today, he is the most performed playwright of the world. And all this is thanks to the expansion of the British Empire across the globe during the colonial period. Once the British used to say that the sun never sets in the British Empire. Now the British Empire has ceased to exist, but the popularity of Shakespeare has not declined. One can say that at any moment today, across the globe, Shakespearean tragedy is either being studied, interpreted, discussed, or staged. Shakespeare arrived in India during the colonial period, even before it was introduced as part of the English education by the British for its Indian subjects. Plays of Shakespeare were being staged in Calcutta, Bombay, and Madras by the British soldiers for entertainment purposes. Living in independent India, now we are going to study Shakespeare from a post-colonial point of view. Colonialism, as we all know, was beyond doubt an unfair system, and it had many negative consequences for the subjects of the colonies. However, any historical process has both positive and negative results. England was a shopkeeper's nation, and the British used Shakespeare to prove their country was a great country. They used Shakespeare to prove that Britain was Great Britain. Shakespeare's plays dealt with kingship and history, and to quote Ronald Carter, how this sceptred island or this small nation came to its present glory. As some of the British in charge of the colony thought that it was the white man's burden to educate the world, many thought that Shakespeare may sow the seeds of Renaissance in the foreign land when they are performed there. Shakespeare's plays showcase the European civilization at different points of history. So when we read Shakespeare, we move both in time and in space to understand the plot, the characters, and dialogue. His plays dealt with kings and queens and princes, but they also dealt with human qualities that make those persons good or bad. Shakespeare was a playwright with a sound understanding of human character that possessed both nobleness and frailties. His work was perhaps the most definitive specimen of Renaissance humanism that fostered intellectual freedom among people. Shakespeare was introduced in schools, colleges, universities as part of curriculum when the English education was introduced in India by Lord Macaulay in the year 1835. Shakespeare was performed by the British themselves in places like Shimla Gaiety Theatre. Shakespeare's plays were translated into Indian languages and performed by the Indians. We have Bollywood film adaptations. We also have traveling theatre troupes in India staging Shakespearean plays, the most notable being Geoffrey Kendall's theatre company called Shakespeareana, which performed till the 1980s. Geoffrey Kendall's daughter, Jennifer Kendall, later married Shashi Kapoor and became Jennifer Kapoor. She acted in Indian films too. In this presentation, we will discuss the significant points related to William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare was born most likely on April 23, 1564 in Stratford-upon-Avon. He was baptized on April 26th in the same year. Shakespeare attended Stratford King's Grammar School. The school taught boys basic reading and writing. So unlike his contemporaries, Shakespeare did not attend a university. On November 28, 1582, William married Anne Hathaway of Stratford, who was older than him. William Shakespeare was 18 years old, whereas Anne was 26 years old at the time of marriage. William's first child, Susanna, was born in Stratford sometime in May 1583. His twins, Hamlet and Judith, were born in February 1585. Hamlet, William's only son, died in 1596, aged 11. From the time after his twins were born till 1592, little is known about him, except that he moved to London to write for the theatre. By 1592, Shakespeare had made a name for himself in London as a playwright and a poet. From the beginning of 1593 to the spring of 1594, the theatres in London were closed due to plague. Shakespeare mostly wrote poetry during this time. You must see A Critical History of English Literature, Shakespeare to Milton, Volume 2, written by David Dages. This is the book that I consulted. Shakespeare is said to have started writing his sonnets around 1592. He invented a new form of sonnet, which is called Shakespearean sonnet. Shakespearean sonnet contains 14 lines of iambic pentameters, which is a 10-syllable pattern of alternating unaccented and accented syllable. The rhyme scheme divides the poem into 3 quatrains, 4 lines, and a couplet. In December 1594, along with Will Kemp, Richard Burbage, and 4 others, Shakespeare started a new theatre company called the Lord Chamberlain's Men. By 1599, the Lord Chamberlain's Men had become the most popular acting group in London. In 1599, the theatre was dismantled because of property rights and rebuilt along the Thames River and was renamed the Globe. Shakespeare became part owner of the new theatre and became wealthy. In 1603, Queen Elizabeth, the last in the line of the Tudor dynasty, died, and James VI of Scotland became James I of England. Shakespeare and his friends changed their acting company's name to the King's Men and became more popular than ever. Between 1595 and 1611, William Shakespeare wrote 37 plays and 154 sonnets and other poems. His plays can be grouped into 3 categories: comedies, tragedies, and histories. Shakespeare's sonnets were published in a quarto in 1609 entitled Shakespeare's Sonnet, which contained 154 sonnets. A comedy can be recognized by its name. It is named for the situation of the play in Shakespeare's. Some of his popular comedies are A Midsummer Night's Dream, As You Like It, and Much Ado About Nothing. A tragedy can be identified because the plays are named for the main character. Some of his popular tragedies are Macbeth, King Lear, Hamlet, and Romeo and Juliet. History plays can be identified by the name as well. They are named after British kings. The more famous ones are Henry VI, Henry V, Henry VI, Henry VII, Henry VIII, sorry. The more famous ones are Henry V, Henry VIII, and Richard III. According to records, Shakespeare revised his will a month before his death on April 23rd, 1616. So he died in the year 1660. He is buried at the Holy Trinity Church in Stratford. It is believed that the epitaph on tombstone of Shakespeare's grave was written by Shakespeare himself as a warning to grave robbers. Says, "Good friend, for Jesus' sake forbear to dig the dust and closed hair. Blessed be ye man that spares these stones, and cursed be he that moves my bones." Shakespeare's first folio. In 1623, actors in Shakespeare's theatre company brought out the first folio which was the first publication of all of Shakespeare's plays and poems. However, it contained 36 plays of Shakespeare, not 37 plays, and it had a prefatory poem by Ben Jonson. Ben Jonson was a contemporary of William Shakespeare, as you know. The Tempest is the first play to appear in the order of plays in the folio. The portrait of William Shakespeare on the cover was by Martin Droshout. William Shakespeare is also known as the Bard of Avon. Ben Jonson called him sweet swan of Avon, soul of the age, and the wonder of our days. However, many claim that Jonson's praise was tongue-in-cheek and that he criticized Shakespeare indirectly for his lack of knowledge of Latin and Greek classics. Now, let's see the kind of questions that you might expect in the UGC. Now, let's see the questions that have come in the UGC exams. Now, the question here is, which two of the following oppositions are best evoked by Hamlet's utterance, to be or not to be? A, between life and death. B, between action and emotion. C, between affirmation and confirmation. D, between doing and abstaining from doing. And then you have the answers. You have to choose one of the choices. Now, as you all know, to be or not to be is about life and death, whether Hamlet is pondering whether he should live or he should die. Hamlet is also pondering whether he should be acting, that is, going and taking the revenge, or he should abstain from taking revenge. So the answer will be A and D. And the answer here is first one. Question one is the answer. Let's move to the next. Now, as we discussed, Shakespeare created a new form of sonnet. So that is also asked many a time in the UGC exams. So what is the rhyme scheme of Shakespearean sonnet? Now, the right answer here is AB, AB, CD, CD, EF, EF, GG. So 3 quatrains followed by a couplet. Now, as I said, if you wish to know Shakespeare, you need to know him from a critical point of view, and you need to know the opinions of critics down the ages. Shakespeare is one of the playwrights, Shakespeare is one of the writers who has been criticized for his, who has been subject of criticism ever since he was a playwright. So Shakespearean criticism starts from the time of Ben Jonson and goes till Stephen Greenblatt, who is still alive and who is still writing on Shakespeare. So the question here is, the formalist critic mocked the character-based criticism of space by posing a famous question: how many children had Lady Macbeth? Now, this quotation is actually by L.C. Knights. L.C. Knights wrote an essay called How Many Children Had Lady Macbeth, wherein he criticized the type of critics who did not concentrate on the text of the play like the formalist critics or the new critics did. So the answer here is L.C. Knights and A.C. Bradley. A.C. Bradley's Shakespearean Tragedy is one of the most significant works of criticism on William Shakespeare. It is said that in an exam on Shakespeare, Shakespeare fared badly because he hadn't read A.C. Bradley. His book appeared in the year 1904, and it held sway for a long time till the new critics came on the scene. And the new critics like F.R. Lewis, L.C. Knights criticized the kind of criticism that was there in Shakespearean tragedy. What is Johnson's opinion regarding the violation of the three unities in the plays of Shakespeare? Now, when you look at this question, you need to see the question very carefully, because if you remember, Shakespeare said, "What is in a name?" But if you see this question, there is a lot in the name. So if the spelling of Johnson here would have been without H, it would have meant Ben Jonson. Then the question would have been very different. The answer would have been very different. This Johnson is Dr. Samuel Johnson. So Dr. Samuel Johnson said that Shakespeare followed the important unity of action satisfactorily, and that is what matters. And unity of time and place arise from false assumptions, so they are not significant. Dr. Samuel Johnson defended William Shakespeare when he wrote a preface to William Shakespeare in his time. Now let me introduce myself. I did my MA and MPhil in English literature way back in the 1990s. Subsequently, I joined the media industry, then the corporate. In the year 2013, I cleared the UGC NET exam. So if you like the content of this video, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Thank you.